everybody. I'm Chris.
I'm Adrian.
I'm still getting situated, but I'm Jimmy.
I was too. I was like,
The timer started. I had to go. Welcome to Worldview Butter, episode 49. For all you that never have joined us before, we talk about worldviews around us of all the things. Everything pushes a worldview, and so we want to help to guide those conversations and help you to think about what a Christ-centered worldview looks like amongst all the stuff. So this week, man, the stuff we're talking about this week is just going to blow your mind. How much money would you trade your family for?
Adrian said 0 before we started recording.
I'd trade Adrian for $1. She's family.
That's true.
yeah.
Hey, big man, more
A
$1.
doll, and you would give that person a doll hair.
A doll hair. I would.
Chris used to tell me that all the time. He'd be like, I'll give you $5 for this. And then I'd be like, heck yeah. And then he would like pull my doll's hair out and give
There you go.
him $5.
It's like doll
They're
hairs.
doll hairs.
Legal Tinder.
Yeah.
He was telling weird dad jokes at like age 10.
All right. Well, anyways, okay. Well, how much money would you sell your family for? Does absolute power corrupt? Absolutely. But first, is it okay to be bad if you're a nice person? Like, if you're the bad guy, is it okay if you're friendly and kind and all that stuff? Because I finished the book. Finally, I did it. Everybody.
Wow. Did you read it, or do you listen to it?
No, listen to it.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
So it counts.
That still counts at the library.
yeah, boy. It's the Green Glass House. And
Okay.
it's not a juvenile fiction. So it's like
Okay.
a kind of a kid-ish
Like
book. But
middle school,
yeah, middle school. We'll go with that. Yeah, it's that.
juvenile.
But so I really liked this book. It's good. I recommend it. So this is something we can recommend. A lot of times, just because we talk about something, we don't recommend it always. But I'm recommending this. I liked it. So the premise is it's Christmas break, and this kid and his parents own an inn. Like it's an old house, but they've changed it into an inn, and so. It's Christmas break. He's excited to have some downtime, but then this little bell rings. It's like way up on this mountain, I think, or like on this big hill in New England somewhere. And so this person comes up like on the ferry to visit, to stay there. And he's like, "Who is this person?" And so they're like, "Okay," but then a lot of people show up. So then there's a bunch of people there, but the inn is primarily for smugglers. So people that will get illegal goods and stuff. Nothing nefarious like drugs or anything like that, but they'll have they'll find items and different things.
Treasures and things.
Yeah, that they're not really supposed to have. And so that's what like everybody in the story, is kind of bad because they do this smuggling stuff, but they kind of be like, okay, but his parents, they know this, but they don't like ever really talk about business and stuff like that. They just know these people do these things, but they don't really do anything about it. And so it's kind of like some of the stuff like you learn about. But so here's why I really liked it, because it would kind of introduce like this thing, okay, all these weird characters. And then like he finds a map that one of them dropped and is like, okay, what's this map to? And then so he's trying to like kind of figure things out and stuff like that. There's some role-playing game elements in it that's pretty fun. And so, but he'll like start to figure out some clues, and then like, as he figures them out, then like new mysteries unlock and things like that, and people's stuff goes missing, and so he has to like figure out how to find it and get it back to him and all. So, but yeah, there's kind of these mysteries that are unraveling as he's going. But one of the cool things that I did like about the story is that he's adopted, and so a lot of the worldview stuff is around adoption of like who am I? And he's like, when he thinks about his like real family that he doesn't know, he starts to feel guilty. He's like, okay, can I feel these feelings because I love my family, I love my parents, and I don't want them to know that I'm thinking about my other family and like who I would be if I was with them. And so there's all these like kind of conflicting things. And so as a father of an adopted daughter, I appreciated just kind of how they presented that, because at the end of the story, like the author came on and was like, hey, I wrote this book because we're in the process of adopting, and I want my adopted son or daughter to be able to wrestle with these things and stuff like that. And so
do you feel like you could talk to your daughter about that?
Yeah. And so because we had started listening to the book together, but then I finished it on my own. So, but yeah, so it was interesting. Yeah, so I hope that like we can maybe have those conversations and stuff, and that this book would help to be able to have those conversations. But even if you don't have an adopted kid, like there's still like just identity things of like who am I really, and like how can I? Because he would role play this character in the book, and he was like, oh, I'm this person, and he like had a backstory for that person, and part of it was like that person's dad like helped him to develop all these skills and stuff, and then he's like. It's like, okay, but I don't know my real dad. And so again, he would wrestle with kind of like who, like, is it okay to think that way? And like, he would feel guilty and stuff. And so it was just interesting, like, because the mom in the story would come like, hey, you can talk to us about these things. So I appreciate that. But yeah, but it's good mystery stuff. But yeah, but the main worldview, I think, is just like, hey, adoption's a good thing, but people are going to struggle with that, and so help people have those conversations and about identity and all that stuff. But there was that subtle one of these are kind of bad people, but like they present them in fun ways and like all the stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh, the other thing, there's all these like stories woven within the story of like. Kind of like the Beetle the Bard, was that it?
Oh yeah.
Never heard of it.
You know Beetle the Bard from Harry Potter. Yeah, just kind of or Aesop's Fables or the Grimm's fairy tales. Like there were some of those stories woven in. So like cool. People in the inn would tell stories, but it's kind of their story, but they would kind of twist it so you didn't know what it's really about. So that was fun too. So there's all these like really fun elements in the story that just like kept it driving forward. And it's like, oh, I want to know who this person is.
Is it a series or this is just one?
I think there might be another one, but I mean, this is I think it's just standalone as far as I know, but there might have been another one.
So what's the worldview on, like you mentioned, the smugglers, like being bad, but are they good guys as well?
Oh, yeah, they're all good guys, yeah. And then, so then there's like a police officer, and like they're kind of the bad guy. You're like, wait, they're trying to do the right thing, kind of like. But
yeah, so it's introducing the idea of who is right, wrong. Like, does the law matter? Right.
Yeah, and so like if you think the laws are dumb, is it okay to go around them? Like, well, no, because you can't just write your own rules and stuff like that. But it's like, well, but these are friendly people and things like that. So it's just an interesting thing. Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, these seem like nice people. And then the person of the law is kind of the bad.
Well, so I'm reading a book on communication. It's called Super Communicators. And they talk about a certain trial where this guy, like, if you ask the questions, did he break the law? Like, he was not supposed to be in possession of a gun, and he was. But he also, like, had the mental capacity of, like, a second grader. Oh. So he, like, didn't necessarily understand what he was doing, and he had applied for something that told him he needed to get a gun, and it was this whole thing. But so,
yeah, what did he apply to?
You need a gun for this.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's like
robbery.
So that's the thing. And so what he did though was he bought the gun because he was told to. So he bought the gun, never opened it, and put it in the top of his closet, but. Like upon questioning from a police officer, because he was somewhere else, and he had just like mentioned that he had a gun, and the police officer was like, do you have it? And he's like, oh, it's in my house. So he went, and the police officer found it, and then he was in trial. So the jury had to decide, should this man go to jail?
Straight to jail. You have gun, you go to jail.
So at first, it was like half and half of like, no, he didn't have the intent. But the judge was like, I want you to make this decision based off of like, he was not supposed to possess a gun, and he had a gun. Like, make your decision.
You do the crime, you do the time.
And so... So then, anyways, because one person in the group was this so-called like a super communicator, he ended up convincing everyone to acquit him.
12 angry men.
And everyone voted to like that he was not guilty.
He said, if the glove don't fit.
But he clearly broke the law, and one person's biggest hang-up was
he broke the law.
Yeah, it was just like, it's black and white, because if you don't apply this, or if somebody gets to break the rule, then what are our laws for, if it's like, all of that?
If it's like, if I'm driving and I get pulled over and get a speeding ticket because I was going 70, and I thought the speed limit was 70, so I thought I was going the speed limit, but the speed limit was actually 45. I didn't know that, so should I be held accountable for that since I did
you were
it?
still doing something that would put somebody at risk. This guy,
You're in a school zone too. Don't even
That's
act
true.
like you weren't.
It was a Saturday. It doesn't count.
but this guy didn't have. It couldn't have been reckless, but people
Could have
are
been.
also saying like, well, what if he did? You
Yeah,
know, you
exactly.
never know if he could have. So anyways, it goes
Did he
back
go to
and forth,
jail?
but it brings,
No, so-
they all said no.
The super communicator
I demand a retrial.
changed the whole.
He changed everyone's
Well,
mind.
So I think there are like circumstances, well, like that, where like mental capacity, things like that, and then we're like, okay, well, we're speeding,
So it's like, are these?
you're speeding to get to the hospital because your wife's about to have her baby. Like there's
Straight to jail.
to jail. I'm having a baby. I have it in jail. Like so.
The baby's in jail now, too.
But yeah, so
So does it justify it then? Or do you think you should be held accountable for it?
I mean, you can get a ticket, I guess, later.
What does the Bible say? Since
Yeah.
this is a worldview.
What does it say, Chris? Let us know.
We're all sinners. We've all fallen short of the glory of God.
So we all deserve to go to jail.
Yeah, I mean,
they're okay. So I would say the smugglers, they are living a lifestyle that they know is incorrect. And so, but they're still choosing to do that. So in that case, are we gonna like label this? They are all sinning, but like this thing, we all are.
Yeah.
But
So they're doing bad things.
Why
I mean,
does the book want you to root for them, like the bad guy, the underdog?
Because they're charismatic.
yeah, because I don't know, because they talk about like they smuggle like light bulbs or paper.
Straight to
or just,
jail.
or just say, yeah, it's more like, yeah, they're kind of treasure hunters and trying to figure some things out and stuff like that. But then through it all, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, there's something a little nefarious, but not really. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not guns. They're not smuggling guns.
Well, it's
and
like,
they're not
what if the actual system itself is
corrupt?
corrupt? And then the smugglers are actually doing what's right by breaking the law.
Robin Hood.
So yeah, so
Wow.
Daniel, you kind of have that with him with his story because he was told to bow down to this idol, and he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And so, but
What happened to him? Threw him in the fire. It wasn't him, but
No, he,
That's a lion's den, but
Yeah, so
all right, wrong.
oh yeah, not Daniel. It's Derek Michelle Wendigo. Daniel refused.
yeah.
to,
So he got it wrong. I got it right.
Daniel refused to pray to another guy.
Yeah. Jeez.
Read your
so-
Bible, guys.
man. Yeah, so in it, he stands up for what's right because there's, don't have any other gods before me. Don't bow before other gods. Don't have idols. Things like that. So there's like certain things like don't steal. Like so, I think like some of the smugglers, they might have been stealing from other people or just are doing illegal activities.
Well, what if it was for a good reason?
I did all the wrong things
For all the right reasons.
for all the right reasons, says Utopia. Great line. So I don't know. I don't know how you.
Is everything black and white? Is there?
Because
I mean, in the Bible, you have people that are justified for lying.
like who?
Like the people, the I think it was a lady, and she had these people that come to her house, and then she like hid them.
Oh, Rahab. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one.
Noel.
The prostitute.
She's in Jesus' lineage. So,
Yeah.
but again, here's the thing, because we're
It
studying
was
Judges.
against the bad powers that be for in Rahab's.
So as long as it's against bad people, you can do bad things.
So, I don't know. That is
What's
a question.
the Nazi dilemma? Where like if you're hiding Jews and the Nazis come to your house and they're like, "Hey, are you hiding Jews?" You're like, "No." So you're lying, but it's to protect
people.
the greater good.
So
And
is that our
people.
takeaway? You can do bad things as long as it's a good reason.
I think like the humanity. Yeah, if I think humanity comes first. So, and then there's the book of Amos is like, look at us, we're doing great, we're prospering, all this stuff, and God's like, on the backs of all these people.
Yeah,
So
you're oppressing people.
I'm gonna destroy you.
I will destroy you. So it's case by case, right?
is. It
So,
really
yeah,
is.
so you
It is.
have
It's
to,
a
like-
matter of the heart and the case.
Yeah, and so if you're
As long as
looking
your
at this-
heart's in the right place.
I stole because I wanted some nice things
Yeah,
for my children. No.
it's hard to do. Like you said, that's the hardest question, I think, is can you do bad things because someone else is bad or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
because you can do bad things to bad people.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that justified?
Well, yeah, and we've talked about this with
because
movies before, where like there's these revenge moments in
totally.
movies where you're like, yes, he finally got his comeuppance. I watched The Equalizer the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Do not,
like every Disney
not
movie, they
requested.
get killed. All the bad guys get killed.
Yeah, and then everyone cheers because
Yeah.
then you feel justified because
Yeah.
you've been taken advantage of or whatever else. So they had it coming. They got what they deserved. So then someone like...
Yeah, because they make them so bad. That's how like The Equalizer, the bad guy in it is just like this awful.
Well,
awful
and then
person.
they start to represent. I think they start to represent like evil, or they represent
Yeah.
sin. They don't represent this like redeemable character.
Right.
It's more of an allegory.
Okay, so here's one question that I think this will tie it all together. If Jesus was in Rahab's place, would Jesus have lied about the people not being there? Yes, what would Jesus do?
And we need like a.
I have no idea.
That was a little late, but it counts.
I don't know what.
Because I think a lot of times for us, there's kind of these morally gray areas.
Yeah.
But Jesus, if he was sinless, is it always black and white, or is there still morally gray things? And does that count?
I don't know.
Come on, Pastor Chris, let us know. Let us know in the
Let us know in
comments.
the comments.
What do you think? There's not an answer for
That's true.
everything.
So,
There's mystery that remains to our faith.
mystery.
We
Feel
don't
free
have
to
to know
fight
it all.
about it in the comments.
So we're gonna transition to Adrian's been watching a kid show, but
No, I have not. I'm reading.
Wait,
It's a book. It's based on a kid show.
Jimmy said it was a kid
It's
show,
not.
but it's not a kid show. I don't know what I'm talking about. But shout out to Heather, one of our fans of the show. She
Recognized
recognized
me.
Saw
both
us
of you
both
in public.
the wild.
In the
Yes,
wild.
you at Donut Bank, you at AZIP. So you never know where Heather's going to pop up and be like, "Hey, I've been watching you for a while."
Yeah, she like whispered in my ears, "Hello, I've been." I'm like, "Excuse? Who are you?"
I've been watching you
She didn't do that. That'd be
on
weird.
your podcast every week. So
Well, we appreciate
her
it.
and her kids came over and swam in our house the other day.
Oh, look
so
at that. Wow, they're very
Whoa,
big
fan
fans.
perks here. If
Yeah,
you
well,
become a fan.
She's a family friend of ours, so that's.
kidding.
But she didn't know you guys, and so
I was
she's
gonna
like,
say you're not supposed to say that because it's like we need fans that just are out in the
"Oh,
wild.
sorry, just kidding. I've never met this lady in my life." Yeah, but the fact that she recognized both of you, like she
Both of
doesn't know
us.
either one of you, and then
Right.
like came up and was like, "Hey," so yeah, Adrian's been recognized twice now for this podcast. It's great.
I know.
So, Adrian, what did you read? Because obviously Chris doesn't
Okay,
know.
well, what I read, it doesn't matter too much. It flows well into this conversation that we're already having about authority. But we're reading a series called Dragon Masters. We just read the first one. It's like these
Dragon
small
Masters.
chapter books about dragons, and
Oh, sorry, no, I was
I
wrong
just
one.
get beeps in every episode.
You can't say dragon. Okay, sorry.
But so this kid gets brought into this like Dragon Masters program in a kingdom and things like that. And it's pretty cool, but you slowly kind of figure out that maybe the dragons were acquired in not a nice way, and the king is behind it all. And so it kind of introduces the idea at a very early age, because these books are for like my 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's introducing the idea early that like the system could be corrupt, or
Oh.
the person in charge that you're supposed to be trusting,
Your parents are the worst.
Yeah, and
actually
at the end of each chapter, it's like your parents.
like your parents, there is making the wrong choice. And
Yeah.
so the boy has to like talk with his dragon and his other friends.
So it's a plot of Damsel, but for kids.
Sure.
Sure. Well, so this is slight. I think it goes kind of along with it, but I think there are a lot of movies and shows and stuff like this where it is teaching younger kids, hey, either you figure out what's right for you yourself or ask your friends, and your parents, it's okay to go against what they want. Like, I think the big one was it Going Red? The one with the red panda?
Oh,
Turning Red.
Turning Red. Yeah, Turning Red. Because that was a big one where it's like, yeah, do whatever you think is right. Forget what your parents say. And, you know,
Right.
if you have junior high kids listening to that,
Right, and I thought in that movie there was going to be a redeemable moment because the mom and her kind of come to this understanding.
Yep.
But then she's just like, no, my panda, my choice. Like she says that. That line is in the movie. And so, like, basically the mom's like, well, you need to do this. She's like, nope. And there's the other thing. I was like, whoa, I will beat that kid.
Chris does not beat his children.
No. in Mario Kart. I didn't finish.
Yeah, you cut him off.
So, so do you think it's saying like power is corrupt? Like, because that's what does absolute power corrupt absolutely?
It's not like this blatant. It's more like a mystery, and it's not like, oh, the power is corrupt. But he is thinking like, what if like the person that I trust is untrustworthy?
Oh, that happened in an episode or a season of 24 where the president was bad.
Right.
What?
Well, and we are facing that right now with our
Former president.
Yeah. And people like now news is saying that it actually helped him like more than hurt him, and which is crazy. Like if you think about it, like I don't want to be political on this podcast at all, but it's like, what does it matter to us? When power is corrupt, or what does it do to people?
Okay, so this is where the worldview stuff comes in because you have a view of the former president, whether you like him or not, you have a view of him. And so when the narrative goes against that, and it's like, oh, he's 34 counts of felony or whatever, like all those counts, like he's guilty. Well, when that verdict hits, your view of him is, no, that's lies because I know he's a good person and did all this stuff. Or so the system's corrupt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's a liar, or they're liars and they're bad. Everybody's corrupt. Or it might switch your worldview, like, oh man, maybe he is not a great person.
Either way, the system is corrupt because it's like the president is corrupt or the system that he belongs to is corrupt.
Yeah.
Which is
you
really crazy. But so I think like in a way, this book could start, it's not an unhealthy conversation to have because this kid is trying to make the best choices for like the dragons, being treated fairly, and his friends, like what are they being used for? And so I think that's a good conversation and questions to have, and to not be like, well, because this person's in power, like I trust him, I believe in him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants to make sure every dragon has a home and good health care, and their college tuition's paid for, child care that's affordable. So I think having those conversations is healthy because there are people in power that are corrupt and that do the wrong things, and so how do we help overcome that?
I think those stories that we've already referenced, like Daniel or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, like those stories are powerful because they're when to like submit to authority and when not to. Yeah.
Because they're causing you to do wrong things or go against
God.
Yeah, then you need to stand up against it. And so, but how you do that is important as well.
That's true. So can't just go around punching people.
It's true. You can't.
Speaking of punching people, I think we have a Florida foible.
Oh. It's time for Florida foibles.
Adrian, you got this one.
I got this one
what's
again.
Happening?
Okay, so there's a man in McDonald's in Florida. This is a really good start already. He was lying on the floor and asking for someone to call an ambulance. Oh. So an employee did.
Okay.
So you know how when you call ambulance, sometimes like whoever can be there first comes. So it's like the fire department shows up.
Oh, okay.
Police officer shows up as well. So the police officer shows up, and this man has made his way to a booth. He was like laying on the ground. And so the officer says like, what's the matter? And he just says he was dizzy and lightheaded, and he ran out the door. And the police officer is like, well, I need to help this man maybe. And he also gave him his...
Wait, what was the quote? There's a really good quote of what he...
That's true. I think you left it out.
Well, I didn't know if we wanted
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Read it.
I'm dizzy, lightheaded, and I have AIDS.
He didn't say that. He didn't just say I'm dizzy and lightheaded and ran out. He said I'm dizzy and lightheaded.
He doesn't say the name he gave him, which I'm really disappointed, but he says he gave me a very strange name and 2 different dates of birth and then ran away.
So my name is Rutabaga, and I was born first on March 15th, 1965. And
My second birth.
He's an alien.
He's born again.
He's following
Rutabaga.
So the police officer like ran after him, and caught up to him, and it wasn't like a tackle to the ground. I don't think this man was moving very fast, and he just asked him to sit on a bench, and then the fire truck pulled up, fire department. So now we have a policeman and a fireman talking to this guy
or woman,
and he just says, the firefighter just said, "Hey, do you want to go to the hospital?" And the defendant spontaneously turned and punched him in the chest.
Oh,
He's like,
I said speaking of punching people, and I didn't even mean for that.
You were correct.
So you punched the fireman in the chest?
Yes. And so then the firefighter was like trying to respond to that, and then he just turned around and punched the policeman in the chest.
He's trying to punch the other guy.
So then they just put him in handcuffs, and then they had him cleared. He was actually okay, like medically, he was okay.
Wait, so what were his symptoms again? He was
dizzy, lightheaded, and headaches.
In that order.
So he probably had one of those new Grandma McFlurries.
He was taken to jail and has been in jail ever since. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail for him. So
straight to jail.
It would have been even funnier.
Don't punch policemen and firefighters at McDonald's. The thing is he's like, I need help, call them. And they're like, do you want to go to the hospital? And he just punches them.
He said, what kind of question is that? Of course I do. What a stupid question.
You have to pay for the ambulance because those are not cheap. That's the other thing.
That's true.
McDonald's had to
He's
pay
in
for
jail,
it.
so I don't know.
So yeah, Ronald McDonald House came out. We're like, hey, we have a house for you. So it's kind of I don't know. Because the Grandma McFlurry, I don't know if you guys have had it.
This is new.
He ate the Grandma McFlurry and he turned into Grandma.
Because it's supposed to taste like a Werther's Original. I don't know. It looks gross. But
it does look a little gross.
I've been reading the Wayside School books we've been listening to them like in the car rides. And Miss Mush is the lunch lady, the lunch teacher they call her, and she makes terrible stuff. But she made this mushroom surprise, and they had it on the menu for like months because nobody would eat it. So this kid forgot their lunch and ate it. And so they take a bite and they're like, oh. And then everybody's like, well, what is it? What's the surprise? And so the kid just like spaces out and then turns and just like kisses his classmate right on the lips. And she's like, ah! And everybody, and he's like, then he like snaps back out of it, but doesn't know what he did. And everybody's like, "Wah!" And he takes another bite, and everybody just runs out of the place. And then the teacher walks in, and it says like his eyes started to tingle or whatever. And then you don't know what happens, but mushroom surprise was never served again.
So maybe that's what they're.
So I think that's what happened to this guy. Like he ate the McFlurry, Grandma McFlurry, and it was so good.
And it slapped your mama.
Like,
made him dizzy.
I'm dizzy. And I gotta punch people.
I mean, that's just from any McDonald's food you get.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's one of the side effects.
Little known fact, you don't actually get AIDS, you get HIV and it turns into AIDS.
Oh, really?
I teach that in school.
All right.
Bringing the truth.
All that fun stuff. All right, speaking of truth, Jimmy, how much would you sell your family?
Oh, yeah. So this is, I watched a new Mr. Beast video and I got some notes here. Hold on.
Always controversy with Mr. Beast.
So much controversy.
Well, he makes content that you want to watch. And
I think it's like a
click. I know we talked about it on here before, but we like this week in our YouTube meeting, it was funny because one of the guys in there was like, man, we made some really good stuff, but nobody watched it. And he was like mad about it because he's like, nobody, but we're like, yeah, because you have to, he's like, I don't want to do those sensational headlines and thumbnails. Like,
you have to.
You have to. Like,
that's the thing. That's what we were talking about before. That is so frustrating. And then people still commented like, I hate how you have to do these sensational. And we're like, that's what we're complaining about. We don't want to do them either, but then nobody watches our videos.
We're good people doing bad things.
Yeah, for all the right reasons, hopefully.
Yeah, Mr. Beast.
Yeah, so also some news with Mr. Beast. He is now the #1 subscribed YouTube channel.
I did hear that.
Yeah, because T-Series for a long time, I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago, took the title from PewDiePie and then has been growing. So that's like an Indian production company, but they were at like 266 million subscribers. And then just this last week, he passed them and now is the most subscribed YouTube channel in the world.
So on a single channel, because he has multiple channels and all that.
Yes, he's actually, since YouTube has changed their language stuff, he's kind of combined a lot of those channels now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but he's the #1 subscriber channel.
He's also got a nice meal at Zaxby's.
Yes, the Mr. Beast box.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I haven't had it, but
See,
I've heard it's very good.
What's in it?
no.
It's chicken, fries, and a Mr. Beast bar.
I thought there was something else too.
Oh,
Not
I was
AIDS.
like, that's not it.
Anyway,
I mean,
so
Werther's original.
and some Werthers.
so he made a new video, and before we get in that, I want to ask the question. So, how much money would you trade your family for? I'm curious.
When I said $0, I meant none.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant $0.
So I give them away for free.
For free.
Okay, so
I can't
No,
find Mr.
you could
Beast
not
box.
offer me enough money.
okay, so you don't have a price, Chris? Do you have a price?
Like giving away my family. Like I'd never
Trading your family
trading my family
for you. Your family goes away. The money comes.
forever.
I don't know. At least for a while.
All of them or just a few of them?
Can you say you select some?
Can I pick? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave that kind of in your mind, and then
I mean, the answer is gonna always be none.
always be 0. Okay. Yeah. So he had a video, and it was I think the title was something along the lines of for every day they survive in the wilderness, I give them $10,000. So the premise was he got these 2 guys that were total strangers. He took a helicopter, dropped them off in the wilderness, and the premise of the video is for every day that they stay in the wilderness, he drops a case of money that has $10,000 in there. So, and he said it's unlimited. So if they stay out there for, a year, then that would give them 365 times $10,000.
Yeah.
So that's how much money they would go with. So that was the basic premise of it. But in Mr. Beast fashion, to make it more interesting, he didn't just choose like single guys that would just stay out there forever. So the one guy, he was married with a wife. He just had a wife. And the other guy was married, and he had a 2-year-old, and then he had basically a newborn. So they were both out there. So obviously,
There's only 2 at a time. How many people were there total?
so there's only 2 people. So
Oh.
2 strangers, and as many days as they can survive out there, then they will get $10,000
They have
every
to
single day.
do it together though. Like, can one leave and the other one stays
So,
out?
so that's the thing. So they gave him a flare gun, and if you shoot the flare gun, then you're both done. So what they did at the very beginning is one guy took the actual flare gun and the other guy took the flare, so that one of them can just do it without the other one knowing.
Oh, so but
Why wouldn't
so-
they stay together?
Yeah, they're not a team.
Yeah, so they do end up being a team. They actually end up being really good friends. But they just, at the very beginning, they're like, okay, let's keep this separate just so no one's like, okay, I'm done. So then they just shoot it.
Right, but so when the money drops, they're not like one gets there first. And
Yeah,
gets
yeah.
the
So
money.
you split it, everything.
Okay.
So yeah, 10,000 drops. So each person gets $5,000 a day.
Do you want to know what's in the Mr. Beast box?
Yes.
4 Zaxby's chicken fingers.
Ooh.
Zaxby's crinkle fries.
So good.
Zaxby's cheddar bites.
And cheddar bites.
2 slices of Zaxby's Texas toast.
Very good.
2 signature sauces from Zaxby's Sauce Folio.
I'm getting this after
Sauce
work.
folio.
a good-
Zaxby's is just makes me so angry.
Mr. Beast's new Feastables milk chocolate bar
Yes, with the new recipe
and a small drink.
and a small drink, and it's what, like $14 probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably a lot.
I would just go.
It sounds very good though. I'm kind of hungry. So
Yeah, that
so
I'm
that was
hungry too.
so they're going through this, and they're surviving for a while, and then where the tension is the guy with the 2-year-old and the newborn. He starts really missing his family, and I think it's like 30 or so days in, because every once in a while, Mr. Beast and the team will come in and they'll open kind of like a shop for these 2 guys, saying, hey, for $10,000 of your prize money, we'll give you firewood, or we'll give you this food, and one of them, I think on day like 30 was for $10,000 you can see your families for like an hour or something. So they ended up doing that. So 30 days in, they're seeing their families, and this guy is talking to his wife, and he's like, how long do you want me to stay out here, and do I need to come home? And she's like, you need to come home. Like, we need you here. He's like, do you want me there, or do you need me there? And she's like, we need you there. So
The one with the 2 kids?
yes, exactly. Because the other guy, he just has a wife. And so for the remainder of the days, there's this constant tension, because the other guy, I guess he doesn't like his wife or something, but he's like, I'm going to stay out here until we at least both make $1 million. So, and I think it would be like 200 days.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So, because I mean, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. For every day you're out there, every single day you're getting $5,000. So the question is, how long would you stay out there?
Okay, so that's different than trading my family for money.
I know, but that was more clickable.
Bait.
It made you stay and listen.
Yeah. Okay, so $5,000 a day.
Every single day that you're out there. And it's unlimited.
But you're missing your kid growing up.
Yeah, so that's the thing. But at the same time, you have a 2-year-old and a newborn. You are setting them up to have a better life, making $5,000 a day.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And if you're out there 200 days, you get $1 million.
So,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
can I ask how long? Like, we're gonna spoil it.
Well, spoiler alert. So if you don't want to know, then
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
yeah. So they ended
not
up
gonna,
staying
watch
out
it.
there 73 days.
So after 30 days, his wife says, "Come home."
Yeah.
And
He's
he
like-
stayed for another 40.
Well, and honestly, like the last 20 days or so, like he is wanting to go home, but he's become really good friends with this guy, and he doesn't want to let him down, and he knows that he wants to stay out there longer. So it's like this kind of constant internal battle of I want to go home, I'm done, and things like that. But the other guy wants to stay. So they end up leaving with I think it's $360,000
Still crazy.
each, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So because the other argument is, at what point is it like, okay, this is a good amount of money. Now it's time to go see my kids.
So wait, do they have food and stuff, or do they have?
So they start with like a little supply at the beginning,
Yeah.
and through the kind of Mr. Beast shops every once in a while, then you can buy more equipment. Like I think they got stuff to fish. So then most of the stuff that they were eating was because they're in the wilderness, and there's like you walk a certain amount of distance, and there was like a lake where you could actually get fish and stuff like that. So, but it was basically like they were surviving and building their own shelters, making their own food and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I'm watching a show now that I forget the name of it, but it's a competition show. But basically, you get dropped off in Alaska, and they're like, "Here's the first point that you got to get to," and they just give you a map and a compass, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
Here's how you get. Like, there's no trails, anything like that. And there's like one little thing across the way where they had to like rope bridge across or whatever. But
So they were a little bit more equipped than that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because they had a pack. They have packs on their back.
Okay.
The stuff
Oh,
they brought.
gotcha.
They couldn't bring a tent, and they couldn't bring. There was like a couple things they couldn't bring because they had to like figure out how to make their own. Because so like at the end they have 12 hours. At the end of that 12 hours, and they have to survive for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so 12 hours wherever you're done walking for the day, you stop there,
okay.
set up camp. But one team, they said there's two brothers. They've lost 9 pounds in one day.
Oh yeah.
And so, like, because they're walking and doing all this stuff, and so you're like,
Oh.
but I don't know if that was between the two of them or total.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for those guys to survive that long, so there had to be like,
Oh yeah, because then he shows some of the ups and downs because they were down to like their 2 days worth of food that they had left, and the guy showed he's like, I'm on like the last belt loop here, like I've had to tighten my belt a whole lot more because
okay.
I've lost weight. So it was super cold out there, and they had the chance to. One of the things they could buy was they could get one sleeping bag for $10,000, but if you wanted both sleeping bags,
$10,000.
then it was going to be $50,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So then
so they just shared because they're really good friends.
no, but they actually turned them both down. So they had no sleeping bag. And so through this whole thing, you see how not only how hard like physically it is, but then, for the other
To,
guy.
like, work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other interesting thing is they become like super good friends. And he's like, now I have like this lifelong friend now in this guy. But so that is the question, and you guys would be better to answer it since you have kids. So how long do you stay out there?
I mean, I know it's hard because being a youth pastor, like being away, like in the summer for like a week. I mean, it's like 4 nights, 5 nights.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough on and now you have
Yeah.
twins. I mean, you
Yeah,
have
well-
4. Now that we both have 4 kids, like it's
it's
tough
definitely
on our
hard.
spouses to.
But
That's
if-
like taking a toll on the spouse for sure.
But if you're getting paid $5,000 a day, that certainly helps.
Yeah. I feel like I would pick like 30
days.
30 days.
I think we'd have to have a set number before going in.
Right.
Like, hey,
Because that would get
I'll
you
be
like
gone a month.
$150,000.
we'll have $150,000.
At the end.
That's like 8 years of salary.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
That's 2 decades of salary.
Set up for us.
Like,
Well, because that's the thing, especially if you have, younger kids or like you're trying to start a college fund for your kids and stuff like that, then it's like, yeah, if I could stay for 100 days or something, then we have $500,000.
A week for each kid. So each kid gets 1 week of the money I made.
So, okay. So I remember there's a house that we went to like for swimming for our youth group one time, and it was like an awesome house. And the pool had like the LED lights that changed colors around it. And there's a little waterfall and slides. Yeah, it was fantastic. And the house was really cool. Like, I mean, it was great. But the dad wasn't there until we were leaving at 8:30.
Yeah,
and that's like when he gets home every night. And so it's like, okay, they're well off. They've got cool stuff.
Right.
But is the money worth it over the relationship? And it was interesting because the guy, like the guy leaders that were there, were like, oh, I would never do that for my family or whatever.
Yeah.
One of them ended up taking a job where he was gone all like weeks at a time. And they would come back on weekends. I was like, wait, you just said you weren't going to do that. Like, and another, it was interesting because watching those guys, like as they got a little bit older and got better jobs, I was like, wait, your jobs take you a lot away from your family and stuff. And so it's interesting because I think, like, okay, for 30 days I can do this, I'm going to be gone. But it's like, okay, but is that 30 days worth it? Like, I mean...
Yeah, so how much is a month with your kids worth in dollar amounts?
Oh, when you put it that way, that sounds worse. But
it's worse than selling them.
That, to me, that's different than long term.
Totally.
Like if it's like a career choice, then
But if I do a short term thing, I'm going to be gone.
And then
for 6 months.
Well, it's like, if you're going on a TV show to win money or something, like, because a lot of those shows now.
Yeah, like the baking competitions.
Lego Masters. You're like
gone for a couple months.
And you,
I don't know.
Because somebody talked to one of the people that was on Lego Masters, and they said they just film one a day. So it's not like.
And the baking ones, I'm sure they do like one a day.
Yeah, they're not like, because they say a week.
And they release them a week apart.
Yeah. But because like, oh, next week, it's like, hey, it's been a week, but they've been one day. So
so I think that obviously that'd be a little bit different because it is kind of this one-time thing. So that, and then I think it is a larger question because if it was obviously if you're getting paid $100 a day, it would be a lot easier. But even with the career, do you think these people go into it and they're like, yeah, I'm going to trade my family for X amount of dollars? Or do you see this really great opportunity to make this amount of money and then in your head kind of justify, okay, well, now I'm able to really provide for my family. Yes, we're going to have to sacrifice some of this relationship time, but does that outweigh?
Because in the long term, I'll be able to be there more because I'm not going to have to work as hard because we have more money up front. So I mean, I'd do it for a year.
You do it for a year?
A year.
Come back.
Well, so that would be hard. But I saw, like, all the comments I saw, it's like, this is why Mr. Beast doesn't just use single guys and send them out there because they would be out there for the next 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I'm just $5,000 a day. Yeah, I'll be out here. I don't have anything better to do.
Oh, dude.
But, because going with that, and we'll kind of wrap up here, but I think there's some decisions where it almost makes sense, quote unquote, logically, but kind of practically and emotionally, it doesn't really work.
Well, I mean, if 30 days in, Angela was like, hey, you need to come home. I'm like, my new friend.
My new friend wants to stay, though. Yeah, that seems really weird.
87 days?
It was 73. 73.
Yeah, so he stayed
another 30.
Another 40 days.
Do you think the wife is also conflicted, though?
Didn't sound like it. It sounded like she.
If she said, we need you home.
Jimmy, if you ever have kids and you have a newborn, I guarantee Malia will be like, you get home right now.
No, you just send some money home and then they can hire a full-time nanny.
Get yourself a nanny.
For less than $5,000 a day and you'll be fine.
Jeez.
All right. Well, thanks. We solved all the problems.
What would you do?
Absolute power does corrupt. We've learned that
McDonald's gives you AIDS.
Right. I did watch. So I'd like to just real quick things you're watching or reading or whatever. So I started reading a new book, Red Rising. It's like
I've read that.
Hunger Games for adults.
I've read that.
So I started that, and then I started Acolyte, the new Star Wars show. So the first 2 episodes dropped. We just watched episode 1. It's good.
Nice.
Is that those little salamander-looking things in Minecraft?
That's axolotl.
Oh, so close.
I will probably start that show as well. I've been watching the Summer Baking Championship on Discovery.
I like the
Network.
competition show.
Summer Baking Championship.
Yeah, I love those. And also, I started reading a book, which I'm very excited to talk about on here when I finish it. It's called The Book of the Dun Cow.
The dumb cow?
The dun cow. But
Sounds like a dumb
It's
cow.
like a nice cooked steak.
it takes
It's a dun
place
cow.
on, there's like 2 different farms, and the main characters are all animals.
Dumb
And-
Animal
cows.
Farm 2.
Yeah, but
The squinkle.
the main character is a rooster named Chanticleer,
Oh.
and I don't know. It's really
Sounds
interesting.
like a trip.
It's
You read
actually
some
the
weirdest
very first chapter. I was laughing out loud because it's hilarious.
Interesting.
So-
Chanticleer.
And me and Malia have been going through Phineas and Ferb again.
Yeah, you should.
nice.
The best.
So many good
Oh,
songs
I've been
there.
playing Breath of the Wild with my son.
Ooh.
We introduced that to him. And
Have you season AGT started up? Oh, he's like in Breath of the Wild?
oh yeah, he's just everything. He loves it. He just loves it.
So.
I saw the guy from Terre Haute on AGT.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch that?
The
yeah.
janitor.
Yeah, that
janitor.
was